Okay, we'll just, okay. I'm not going to, I hate people that bore people. Those are the kind of people I hate the most. And this has been really nice because everybody's read. It's great, really, honestly. Love being here. Thank you, James and Debbie, of course. And anyway, I was a student back in like 1981 or whatever. I don't know. Of Debbie's creative writing and stuff. Excuse me. Anyway, from Sedalia. All right. Anyway, I'll just read some stuff. Okay. To Take It There, for Dave Stemmerman. He wanted to take it there. That was the day, and he was alive, and the room was full of light. One song after the other. He wanted it. He needed it. The collision of sound as the afternoon began its fading. Neighbors growing annoyed. Take it there. He wanted to be taken there. Pull the gigantic essence into focus. He needed it more than he needed life. When it came to life, there was a missing link. Life just wasn't enough. In the fading into the evening, and he turned up the volume, song after song. Each song I suggested, they just weren't doing it, taking him to that place he needed to go. He began naming off songs, but when I played them, each song, turning up the volume, a look would come over his face. He squinted his eyes tightly closed. It wasn't happening. Nothing was doing it. If it had been 20 years ago, he would have ripped off his shirt and ran out the door and into the street, breaking bottles, dancing barefoot on the fine, sharp glass. But it wasn't 20 years ago. It was that afternoon, and it wasn't working. He couldn't get there, to that place, and his eyes closed so tight. I lived in New Orleans for 6 years, and I just moved back to Missouri. And anyway, this is sort of a New Orleans poem. Overheard at the Sugar Park Tavern. It's called The Lazy Man. After 3 wives and 4 kids and a job that I hated, all of those endless days that added up to make each of those hollow years of my life. After that, after more than that, I decided to only do what I wanted to do. I hung it up. 6 months went by and I didn't leave my little apartment. Each one of those days seemed to me like money in the bank. Pure and true and bullshit-free. I watched the paint peel. I watched the sink fill with dishes. I watched the sun come up, and I watched the sun go down. And at night I got drunk and stoned with the moon, that lonely-looking thing punctuating my dark landscape. I was the lazy man now, and I had all my food delivered, beer delivered. I'd look out the window, the big one, looking out on the nice little street, and there the cars went back and forth. and the people on bicycles, and the people walking. The occasional wheelchair wobbled onward beneath leafy shadows. I observed all this human drama unfolding and counted myself lucky to be where I was, behind that door, behind that glass, alone in that good space. Finally, one day, around noon, I made my way back out into the new world. I stood under a tree and listened to sounds the breeze made in my ears. I felt like a god that wasn't responsible for the things it had created. Then I went back in and called one of my kids. We talked for a little while. Then he asked if they could have, we talked for a little while. Then they asked if they could have some money. I hung up. I went down to the street to the Sugar Park Tavern and had several beers. It was a good time, and that went on most of the night. In fact, that was some years ago now, and I'm still here. If not here, then somewhere else. But one thing is for certain, I don't do anything I don't want to do. And you're sure as hell not going to find me someplace I don't want to be. There was I'll just read this, I don't know. New Orleans poem, another one. The Axeman of New Orleans was a character that was like a serial killer that was never captured. It's like the 1800s anyway. And I learned that his first victim was about 2 blocks from where I lived. And it's one of those things that went on for maybe like a year or something. I don't remember right now, but anyway. The Axeman of New Orleans. There is nothing beautiful now, I swear. You can't go to bed. Dream your little dream in peace without the scratching sound lighting up your midnight eyes, blind to what is there. And what unfolds is no more than a scream that lifts each nerve and limb into a painful zone. No roof, no floor, as the endless steel encounters skull, brain, life. What do you feel when a dream's raped, face drowned in hot blood, the memento of this rambling death thought, blown in through an open window, crushed in, old flood threatening to destroy that spot where truth exists, the last spot, beyond cruel, beyond real, lost, goddamn it all. Anyway, one more, and haunted house. And this is the haunted house you love so much. Inside you full of cold chills, misty visions, low against the ground. Love because love is the only word stuffed with the musings of spiders. Here, love is a full yellow moon hung in the cloudless autumn night, a flat, round light on the slow dissolve into day. You feel your way, thrills, shivers. You walk through the rusty iron gate. The owls go hoot, hoot, hoot. You can feel each rock beneath your shoes. Hair raises up on the neck. The black cat arches its back from the top of the picket fence. Aerosol hiss. The wind swoops down, rattles through leaves, reminds you of nothing as mad laughter bounces down from that window, candle lit, furthest up, lonely attic room, maniacal, guttural, nothing is funny, far from funny, but the laughter continues. The black cat devours its shadow, and the wind blows out the candle, and all you have then is the cold dark touching every inch of you, covered in the deep light, possessed by the other, all the others that drag log chains over a rough attic wood, moaning through eternity's veil. They have emerged, the opposite of light, saturated by distance, forgotten. They have no hands to hold. Only time's acrid vibrato, sorry, it's a weird line, pushing forth you. You are only flesh. They are timeless in a timeless place. You go into the house. Tiny voices leap into air. Out of every crack, the untranslatable murmur snap in the air. The only light is the full moon. And we speak of love because this is what we simply have to do. Thank you.